lastly, or getting towards lastly, traditional versus ACH timeline. Who's done a traditional hypnotherapy session before? Pretty common, okay? Remind me, how do they start? So we've done the strategy call, client shows up, Sarah's my client. What would we do first inside a more traditional therapy session?
Some pre-talk.
Pre-talk. Perfect. What's a pre-talk? What's its purpose?
Find out more about the problem.
Find out more about the problem. Yep. So it'd be a series of questions.
Priming.
A bit of priming, like you'll be safe. There's a light above your head. My voice will go with you. Well, it's such a good line. I love Erickson. Anything else?
Setting goals.
The therapist kind of figures out
Letting
what they
go.
want to do, their technique.
It's interesting the way you said that. The therapist figures out, because that's what we're taught. I get that.
Yeah.
What else do we do?
Build rapport.
Build rapport. You've got shoes. I've got shoes. We're best friends. I'm just joking. What else?
Perhaps setting up
To calm them down.
expectations.
Setting up expectations. Absolutely.
To calm them down.
What's that, Layla? Sorry.
To calm them down.
Calm them
To
down.
relax.
Yeah, relax. Close your eyes. Have a soft drink from Maya.
We also explain what hypnotherapy is. So we're talking
Thank you.
about subconscious. Yeah, that's what we
Why?
do. I don't know.
I don't know either. I get this answer a lot. I say, student, why do you do that? And they go, I don't know. I get it, guys. I'm having a bit of fun here, of course, because there's a point to this.
Convincers.
Make them
Convinces. I'm going to convince you that you can go into trance. So let's say there's 10 things we need to do that take, how long would that take normally, guys? 15, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour? Yeah?
45 minutes.
Why haven't we done any of that? Remember technique versus principle. Why did we skip over that? Literally.
It's not therapy.
It's definitely not therapy.
It freaks them out.
Could start to freak them out. So we're priming the wrong things.
By that, I just mean like it puts their subconscious on alert.
Puts them on alert, which is very heavy for
Mhm.
resistance.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Do you believe that we're actually doing that without actually doing that? Without using the same words? Let's back it
Yes.
up a little bit. What happens on the strategy call? And this is a big part of therapy, guys. I need you, I'm not just going off topic here. If you do a good strategy call, Maya comes in, I'm the client. She only needs to ask me one question because of all the good stuff she's done on the strategy call. Okay, on the strategy call, what happens?
What's the problem?
Yep. We start to plan the session. I get desires and wants and goals. I create a hell of a lot of rapport. You better believe someone has rapport with me if I'm asking for $2.5 grand and they pay it. Setting up expectations. Aren't I calming my client as well because I'm a human being and I'm listening? Okay. So by the time I've done all that, which is usually the first half an hour, even 45 minutes, I don't have to do that in the session. Now, the convincers, where do they happen? Why wouldn't we have to test if someone can go into trance or not? There's two reasons or two things.
Well, you can all go into trance.
If you can create a problem, you can go into trance. All trance is thinking. If I say, everybody, think about your fondest memory of when you were 21 years old, your favorite birthday party, your favorite present. That's trance. I'm just having you think. I'm just redirecting attention. It's nothing magical. Just asking you to think. Everybody can go into trance. If you can sleep, you can go into trance. Now, I'm not using that cliche thing of, every time you drive, you go into trance. That's just regurgitated nonsense. I'm talking about from a therapeutic point. Why does my client have to know how it works? Did Justine, or did I pay Justine a $2.5 grand to learn about hypnosis for half an hour? I'm busy. I'm going to get home to my kids. Let's fucking do this. I need to be a non-smoker. Let's do this. She convinced me on the strategy call, not that she can put me into trance. She convinced me on the strategy calls that she's an expert on healing me, not on fucking hypnosis. Does that make sense, guys? So moving forward, Justine, I sit down in front of Justine. I'm ready to go. She starts with, what's the problem? What things have I been able to skip by jumping straight into that? Rapport's done. She's paid, so there's skin in the game. History of hypnosis, I don't care about. Convinces, she already did that on the strategy call. I believe she's an expert. But we're actually skipping the hypnosis part, the deepening part, because all that happens as an aggregate. Why? Because we know and believe the unconscious mind will take them where they need to go. We all said this. So literally, yeah, it's the induction. My favorite conversational hypnosis induction is what's the problem? The best technique you could ever have. Now, am I good at hypnotizing people on the spot? No, but I don't need to be. Clients don't pay me for that. No one has ever paid me for put them into trance. Now, this brings up another question. Client comes in and says, Justina, I want you to put me into a regression because that's how I'm going to solve my problem. Do not work with those people because now they're telling you what to do. And who's to say that regression is the right thing? So just bear that in mind as a side note. Okay. So the best induction is what's the problem? How is that an induction? How is that a deepener? How is that a convincer all in one question? Any ideas?
Because it turns them from outside focus to internal focus.
Isn't that a principle of hypnosis? Internal focus, attention, not a technique, it's a principle. A technique would be to say, you can only say this, but you can say what's the problem in any number of ways. What's the problem? What do you want to work on? What's been happening since? Tell me about your life. That's more Dr. Phil. You know, it can be asked anyway. But remember, Justina's asked me that problem. Where does my problem exist? Based on the principles we now know. Where does my problem exist? Unconscious. I think that's where your unconscious is, on the back of your head somewhere. So I have to go there to find the information to answer her question. Because where's the information before I need it? In the back of my head, here. So I need to go searching. And if that thing is buried deep away in the back of the room where I'm trying to locate that suit, I might have to search for a while. And if I'm searching for a while and doing this, what is this? It's an unconscious moment. So by one question, I've created a induction, deepener, looking for root cause or unconscious payoffs, turned out of focus to inner focus. I've done half a dozen things in one question. Can you guys see the value of how quick this is now? We've already shaved off 45 minutes. What does someone knowing how to go into hypnosis through convinces, what does that tell you about that client?
They have expectations.
They have expectations. What does it also tell us? Yeah,
They're
nothing.
still not sure.
If a client can go into trance, so what? Trance and therapy have nothing to do with each other. Who believes that? You don't have to. I'll explain why. Because if that was the case, the shortcut version, we would have done that yesterday. I would have done the induction. You've learned all the inductions. Just because a client can go into trance doesn't mean Justina can put me into trance, then open up my head and give me suggestions. Because now she's telling me what to do. We know the unconscious mind doesn't like that. So do you see why we've shaved off a good 45 minutes and you actually got more done just with one question? Does that make it easier for you guys? Can you see the principles behind this? Okay. So if we don't have to hypnotize my client, I don't have to put them into a deepener. Another way to think about hypnosis is just thinking. By asking a client, what's the problem? You're doing all of those things. Okay. So moving on from the induction phase, what happens next in a traditional therapy sessions?
Deepener.
I do a conversion to
Yeah,
hypnosis.
deepener. What are some pretty typical deepeners?
Staircase is
Case.
famous.
Staircase. I remember hearing must have been a long time ago. One of the students said, I had a deepener done and this therapist, through no fault of their own, was telling me to go deep inside this ocean. I have a phobia of water. And I thought, no, I can see why. It just doesn't work. Anyway, what else? What are
A
some
cloud
pretty-
coming down from the sky and floating you away.
Oh yeah, cloud floating you away. Yep.
Counting down with and saying deeper,
Yeah.
deeper.
With each breath, you go deeper, and I go to 9, and then another breath deep. And as I tap your hand slightly, don't freak out that I'm touching you, and I might cause an ab reaction. Go deeper, go deeper. What else? Down the elevator, yeah. Okay.
Fractionation.
Fractionation, hand drop like the classical Erickson Bandler thing. I'll give you a funny story with this. There's a story. I can't remember which book it's in, but might have been in a seminar. I think it actually might be a seminar. I'll try and find the clip. I saw it on YouTube. Anyway, I'll find it. This therapist who was working with Erickson as one of his trainers. God, what's his name? I'll remember his name soon. Walked into the office, sat down, waited for Erickson. So Erickson used to have this little shed type thing, granny flat at the back of his house. Waited for Erickson. That's the start of the induction. Waiting for Erickson. Knew he had to be there at a certain time. Yeah, no, not Rossi. There's another guy, but I do know Rossi. Waited for Erickson. That's the key. Waited. All right. Waited. Where do you think this psychotherapist's mind was going while he was waiting for Erickson? Yeah, Jeffrey Zeig. That's him. Where do you think his mind was going while he was waiting for Erickson? Internal, like where is he? Why is he late? What's going to happen? He's nervous, excited to meet an icon of his. You can see Erickson's doing this on purpose. Erickson rolls in on his wheelchair. I think his wife's wheeling him in. Sits down in front of him. This is the story he's telling. And he said he went to shake Erickson's hands. Like, hello, Mr. Erickson. Very nice to meet you. I'm a big fan of yours. Erickson did this. Slowly looked at him and just stared at him. Here's Jeffrey Zeig doing this. Talk about an instant induction. Okay. A lot of expertise. That's a little funny side note, but that counts for the induction as well. Okay. I'm not saying do that to your clients, but this also brings up a good point, this whole instant induction thing. What's the purpose of doing an instant induction? Put your client into trance, right? Quickly. Do we have to worry about that? I just saved you some more tuition fees. You never have to learn that shit. Because here's the thing. When your client goes into trance, what are they bringing with them? Robin told us yesterday. If I don't do the investigation and clear up the knots before they go into trance, what are they bringing with them? All their old luggage. It's a dirty trance. So if I put them in, they just bring in all this shit with them. Okay. So where was I? Back on track. Okay. So deepness, that's usually the next thing. How long does it take to normally deepen somebody? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe, a lot of talking. How do you know when a client's deep enough? Any ideas? Do we guess? I think it's a lot of times we just guess.
We
I know you
guess.
can,
Well, we
I know you can do the hand drop thing. Yeah.
Loosening up.
Yeah, loosening up. Yep.
Amnesia.
Waxy look.
Relaxing look. Pinch them.
Sorry, waxy.
Oh, waxy. Yeah. Pinch them. Yeah. Go for their wallet. I didn't say that.
You're always guessing. You just never know.
That's true, isn't it? We're just guessing because I've got to step 5 on my script and that's what it says. I wish it was that easy. Now, if my client is starting to relax, eyes are probably closed, probably flinching a little bit because that's normal relaxation. We can all do that. What is that an example of? We talked about these things yesterday. Unconscious moments. But there is a big difference between a forced unconscious moment compared to what? A naturally occurring unconscious moment. Which do you think has more power?
Natural.
You're natural.
Which one do you think is better suited to that client?
Natural.
Which one requires less work from you?
Natural.
The only thing you have to do is fucking wait. Excuse my language, but who cares? You've got to wait. It's going to show up anyway. So here's the thing. By asking a client, what's the problem? And I'm waxing lyrics here, guys. I want you guys to get this. Ask a client, what's the problem? Justine says, Scott, what's your fucking problem today? And I say, well, this, and this. Took me 2 minutes to find that information. I've already gone to that place. I've come out. My answer is now dripping with unconsciousness. She sees it. What have I now told Justina without actually saying it? I'm in trance. As long as she sees some unconscious moments, I'm in trance. She hears some information, something piques her attention. She goes, well, that's interesting. We'll talk about something called clashing realities soon. She asked me a question about that, and I go, oh, that's thought-provoking. I go back in, but even further this time to find some more information, but I stay in there for 5 minutes this time. And the whole time I'm in there, I'm twitching, I'm looking around, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm crying. What am I telling Justina indirectly? I'm in the place where the resource will be. Justina says, well, that's my job done. I'm just going to sit here and wait. But as soon as Justina starts saying, go deeper, go into trance, close your eyes, Scott, you're amazing. What's going to happen with that? Aside from being a lot of work.
Too conscious.
Yeah. She says,
You're
Scott, you're amazing.
interrupting.
Yeah. Scott, you're amazing. I snap out and go, no, I'm not. That's why I'm here. Dun, dun. Good luck with that session. She's now telling me what suit she wants me to try on. I want the black one. Justina says, you look better in a brown one. Resistance, clashing. Okay. But instead, Justina's smart enough to sit there and just go, cool, you're in the right place. I'm just going to wait and put a big smile on my face and wait to see what happens next. So do you see, by asking one question, then another and another, you're creating the trance, you're deepening the trance, you're finding the unconscious payoff. Who believes you're actually starting to heal your client? Because that's the next stage after the traditional, isn't it? Deepen. Then you give suggestions and stories, and that's the therapy part, isn't it? Did I miss anything? I think that's how the timeline goes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
the therapy. Float above your timeline. Find 3 scenes. Can you see the repetitiveness of what I'm trying to point out here, guys?
Mm-hmm.
And all Justina's asked me is just a couple of questions. What's the full trust she has in me? That my mind knows me better than she ever will. Okay? Now, who believes just by investigating the problem the way we are, getting close to those unconscious mind, the unconscious payoff, it starts to heal the client? How the hell does that work?
Yeah.
How is that possible? So much can go on just with a couple of questions.
Making the unconscious conscious, yeah.
Yeah. What else?
They're going to put the trust in themselves as opposed to being addicted to a therapist.
Yeah, that's could be part of it. Let's get really, really basic here. You already know the answers. You told me this yesterday, guys.
Well, they realize they have the resources already, and they're already starting to solve the problem as they're processing.
Yeah, so indirectly, once Mark's working with me now, once I start to go, huh, holy shit, that's when it started. I'm now convincing myself that, wow, it's actually inside my head. He doesn't have to tell me. I will figure it out indirectly. But why else does it heal our clients?
Because they were able to let out a knot. Because they're able to actually put something in words or visuals.
Start to express it. Yep.
Yeah.
Comes from them.
Because it's
Yeah, go ahead. Anyone yell it out? Couple of things.
because it's their head. It's their unconscious dealing with the problem. We don't know exactly what's going on, but their unconscious does.
Yeah. That also begs the question, or begs the answer of, that's why we don't have to understand it. We just let it happen. Okay, when I turn my lights on, I don't understand how it works, but I trust they'll go on. But if a bulb breaks, I can hire someone to fix it. So there's complete trust there. A couple of things happen. And I'll throw these ideas out there and let me know what you think. Who believes just having some quiet space to actually think things through properly is quite healing in itself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After a busy day, screaming kids, 12 hours, working hard, cooking dinner, doing all that stuff, you finally get that hour at nighttime. Who lives for that hour of silence? Grab a wine, grab a coffee, decaf, some chocolate. It's the best thing in the world. And you forget about all your problems, don't you? So it's healing. You've got time to process, to be inside yourself for a while. We do this naturally. But also, there's an idea out there that says problems are resolved completely unconscious, which is true. But believe it or not, and we'll test this later, When you actually bring some conscious understanding to an unconscious problem, that starts to heal it because you can think about it differently. You can see it differently.
Yep.
Has anyone reframed you one time before? Just out of the blue, and you go, huh, you know what, you're right. That doesn't make sense. Oh, I feel better now. Was that therapy? We do this anyway. Just seeing the problem differently instead of caught in the same box you're always caught in. So let's back it up again. Yes, I'm nearly finished with my tirade, guys. What's the problem? Does everything, the strategy call does the rapport, the convince, all that good stuff. What's the problem? Takes a client where the trance is, okay? Deepens them, basically unconscious mind, figure it out. The other little things as well. Starts to heal a client because we know that's where the resource is. So why not just keep them there? Every time they try and escape, no, Susie, come on back. Stay there. Try on the suits. So that starts to heal the client. Now, all the little processing in between, what the mind connects to, how it connects to this, the new resource state, it does not matter to you because it's not your problem. And we saw this yesterday when Fiona closed her eyes, which she did voluntarily. You could see the stuff happening inside of her head. Ari was just saying, process instruction, which is good job. That's therapeutic. Does that make sense, guys? So can you see how quickly this happens? But we don't have to do all the traditional stuff. I think a lot of that traditional stuff is just the therapists psyching themselves out because they're really fucking nervous. And they're just trying to delay the inevitable. Looking back on what we did yesterday, we're going to get into some demos soon. Does that make more sense of why we started there, why we jumped straight in, and how it didn't seem like a lot was going on, but so much was happening with the least amount of words? Does everyone see that? Now, we'll get back to, Scott, what questions do I ask? What's this big picture thing? What's the process? We're going to get to that. But now with this new understanding, the basics of, I think, what should be basic therapy training, it now has a reference point to sit. It's not just, oh, Scott seemed to ask this question, something happened, and I didn't know what happened. Any thoughts or ideas on it? Now, how we end a session, we'll do that tomorrow. Processing, we'll do the ETM today. We've still got some techniques, if you will, to go through, but it's all based on principles.